Hello all, good morning to all and welcome to DFCSL exam preparation course. So now we will see the economics. So I hope you revise the things, okay, because my little gap is there. So keep revise the things, okay, which will help you to again connect with the upcoming lectures, okay. So today we will continue our discussion. In the last class what we saw till now, we come till our quantitative tools of monetary policy, right? In detail we discuss everything which is very important for you. And now qualitative tools, okay, in that I listed I guess 5 to 6 tools, but now here we will discuss only these 3, okay, which is very important for you: moral suasion, credit rationing and margin requirement, okay. So let's start with our discussion now. Okay, so first is your moral suasion, okay. Now in economics, if you recall, I told you there are 3 sectors. There are 3 sectors, right? I hope you know the sectors. That is your primary, secondary and tertiary. Okay, these are the 3 sectors. In each sector, what are the things already we discussed in very much detail. Okay, now what happened that your commercial bank is there, okay, commercial bank is there, and suppose they are providing credit, or I can say loan, or I can say amount to any particular sector, any one of the particular sector, okay, that is they providing highest amount or highest credit to primary sector only. Then RBI, okay, then RBI in this case conveys the commercial bank that do not just give to one sector, okay, because see, if commercial bank give loan to the one sector, okay, then there will be growth of that sector only, right? Out of 100%, if I am giving 70% to this, then 30% is for both sectors, means more growth is here, less growth is here, right? But to grow of our economy, okay, all the 3 sectors should be equally grow, okay. So that's why it is very important to just maintain the flow of money in each of the sectors. That's why RBI conveys commercial bank, okay, and that's convincing nothing but your moral suasion. The suasion means convincing power, you can say, okay. So just remember that RBI conveys commercial bank do not give money to any particular sector. For that, meetings are also there, okay. After 1 or 2 months, meetings will be also there. RBI first observe that what are the things are going to are happening, and then depending on meeting will be there, and then RBI try to convince the commercial bank, because for the bank the major revenue source is loan only, right? It does not bother that whether to give one sector or not. It just want to give the loans, right? Because they want interest. That is the thing. So this is the moral suasion, okay. So lots of strategy RBI make to just make the proper flow among 3 sectors, okay, or I can say proper distribution of money among 3 sectors. Then the next is credit rationing. Now in this, RBI makes sure, okay, RBI makes sure that equal credit or amount or loan to all the sectors, equal credit or amount to all the sectors, okay. So this is very important. So after moral suasion, RBI makes sure this, and this is called your credit rationing, okay. So in this, RBI just make guidelines for the bank, commercial bank, okay, to give the loan, and this guideline is called primary sector lending guidelines, okay, guidelines. So under these guidelines, okay, bank is allowed to give 40% compulsory, 40% to primary sector, because primary sector lending guidelines is there, okay. So 40% they will give to the primary sector. So in primary sector, agriculture is there, okay, MSMEs are there, then your house loan, education loan. So 40% of the amount that bank hold, okay, that will be given to primary sector under the guidelines of RBI, okay. So credit rationing means, just remember that RBI will give equal amount to all the sectors, and primary sector lending guidelines will be there, for which will make sure that 40% of the amount bank will give to the primary sector. Basically, for the growth of economy, whatever is necessary, RBI will do, okay. In short, the summary is like this. Okay, now the third one is your margin requirement, okay. Now we already discussed that the transaction between bank and RBI will happen in terms of what? In terms of securities, where it is your government bonds, where it is your T-bill, okay. In concept of repo rate and reverse repo rate, we already did that. So similarly here also, whenever some person go to the bank, okay, whenever some person go to the bank, and that person wants some loan, that is for home loan, okay, or you can say gold loan, any loan, then that person need to give some security, right, some security to the bank, or I can say mortgage, okay, security mortgage to the bank, and then here after giving security, bank will offer loan, okay, that is amount. Now see, suppose person have requirement of, I can say 10 lakh, how much, 10 lakh rupees loan, okay. Now what bank will do, bank will ask for the securities, okay, of worth suppose 12 lakh, okay. So when person suppose we will take an example of home loan, okay. Now whenever you go to the bank for the home loan, then definitely our KYC documents they want, okay. Then basic documents are there, like your 3 months salary, okay, last 12 month transactions, all the things will be there, and along with that, very important, that property paper, property documents, okay. Suppose you have one property or land, then what is the price of land we are taking, that price is 12 lakh, okay. So this document you will submit as a security to the bank, and for which bank will offer you a loan, but it will offer not loan of 12 lakh, okay, it will offer loan at only 10 lakh, only 10 lakh it will give you. So this difference, that is this 12 lakh minus 10 lakh, that is your 2 lakhs is the margin requirement of bank, okay. So for the security purpose, suppose the person failed to repay the loan, then there will be problem, right? That's why this margin will be always there, okay. So for the 12 lakh security, bank give only 10 lakh rupees of loan, okay. This is margin requirement. Now see, how this will affect the money supply is very interesting point, okay, which we are already discussed in this our quantitative requirement. So let's check. Now suppose margin requirement is 2 lakh, okay. So margin requirement, I can say it's less now, okay, for example less. So more people will take the loan, right? More people will take the loan because bank will hold, bank is holding only 2 lakh, difference 2 lakh, okay. So more people will take the loan, again money supply increase in the market, and whenever the money supply increase, then you know inflation is already increased, in between all the things are there, demand and everything already we discussed, okay. So you know perfectly now. Suppose now RBI tell to bank that let's increase the money requirement now, okay, next margin requirement. So instead of this 2 lakh, okay, bank will now only give 8 lakh loan, only 8 lakh. So what is the margin requirement? 4 lakh, okay, 4 lakh. So if now person is thinking that earlier I am getting 10 lakh loan, but now only I will get 8 lakh, okay, 4 lakh will be margin requirement. So I will not take loan this time, okay, I will not take the loan this time. So what happened, that money supply in the market is less now, okay, because people are not taking the loan, and whenever the money supply is less, people don't have money, then obviously inflation is decreased, okay, inflation is low or decreased. So these are the important things in MCQ you will get in your exam. They may ask you this question, that whenever the margins requirement is low, what is the effect on money supply, what will be the effect on inflation, whenever it is high, what will be the effect on this, okay. So compulsory remember this thing. If you not remember this, okay, but these are the very important thing, okay, these are the very important thing, okay. Now the next topic is tax, okay, taxation system in India. So basically we know that we need to give some tax to government. Whenever suppose you are a salaried person, then you have to give income tax, okay, like that. Why we need to give money to the government? So government can use that money or utilize that money for growth of the nation, okay, obviously growth of the nation, growth of some services, to improve our defense system, okay. Various yojnas are there, schemes are there, under which those people who are below poverty line, okay, money provided to them, okay, various schemes are there, you know already. And also those person who are government employees are now retired, okay, so their pension will be paid through this. So this tax is the major revenue source of the government of India, okay. This is the important thing you should know first. Then in the 7th schedule, okay, 7th schedule of constitution, their power division is there. Okay, in this 7th schedule, power division is there between the union, means your central government and state government. Okay, and based on that, 3 lists are there, which is your list 1, okay, list 2 and list 3. So basically 3 lists are there. List 1 is nothing but your union list. Okay, whatever the taxes we need to pay to the central government are mentioned here. List 2 is your state list. State list. Whatever the taxes we need to pay to the state government, okay, are mentioned here. And third one is concurrent list. Concurrent list. So basically here the things which are common for central and state government are there. Okay, not for tax like that, but these two very important for us. Okay, these two are very important for us. So you should know that what are the taxes listed there. Okay, so see, union list, we have income tax, service tax, corporation tax, tax on transaction in stock market and future market. Okay, whenever we purchase some share, then we need to pay the tax while purchasing, while selling the share, okay, in the stock market. So this we are going to give to home, union means central government. Okay, we are going to central government. And for the state government, land revenue, tolls are there. Okay, agriculture income tax is there, vehicle tax is there, stamp duty, property tax and water tax. Okay, so these are given to state government. State government. Now in India, basically the tax is collected by home, central and state, also panchayat and municipality. Who? Panchayat and municipalities. Okay, they can also collect the taxes from you. So under 73rd and 74 Constitutional Amendment Act, okay, state can give guidelines or state can give permission to panchayat and municipalities to collect the taxes, like toll tax. Okay, toll tax they can collect, like we have water tax also. Okay, like we have house tax also, that we can give to the municipalities. Okay, so these are the things. So in India, 3 things are there which collect the taxes: central government, state government and panchayat and municipality. This thing you should remember compulsory. Amendment you should you need to remember 73rd and 74th. Okay. Okay, the next thing, that types of tax systems. There are basically tax systems. The first is proportional. First is proportional tax system. Second is progressive. Second is progressive, and the third one is regressive. The third one is regressive. Okay. Now let us discuss one by one. So proportional. Proportional means tax percentage will be same for low income group also and high income group also. Okay, in India basically we have 2 groups, I can say, that low income group and high income group. Okay, so whatever the tax is collected by government, that tax percentage should be imposed equally on this two groups. Obviously we will not use this in India. Okay, in progressive, if your income is higher, then you have to pay taxes also higher. Okay, which we are using in India basically. So you know that tax slabs are there. Okay, I hope you know the tax slab, income tax slabs, that suppose you have 0 to 2.5, then you need not to pay the tax, then 2.5 to 5. Okay, then 5% tax you have to pay on your total income, then 5 to 10%, like that. Okay, this tax slab changes whenever budget announces. Okay, so this, as per this tax slab, as you can see, the income group is this, that is 0 to 2.5 lakh people will pay 0 tax. Okay, nil tax. 2.5 to 5 lakh people will pay 5% tax. So as income is increasing, tax percentage also increasing. Okay, 5 to 10 lakh, then more than 30 lakh, then the 30%. Okay, 15%, like that. Lots of things are there. So just remember this, in the progressive, whenever your income is high, your tax will be also have high. And the regressive, opposite. If your income is low, okay, then your tax should be high. Okay, so this is the problematic for low income group, because those who are earning very high amount, they are giving less taxes, right? Less tax, because the thing is in regressive in that. So obviously we will not use this. Okay, we will not use this. So in India, you know that we use progressive tax system. Okay, then the third thing, that now two types of taxes are there. Okay, one is direct tax and second is indirect tax. So let's start the discussion of direct taxes. Now, what is the meaning of direct tax? Okay, first question, what is the meaning of direct tax? So this tax, okay, a person is directly paying to the government. Okay, so person directly paying to government. Okay, to government of India. So this you need to remember. Okay, you cannot transfer this tax to on someone else. Okay, that means you cannot say that some other person to pay the tax. You have to pay the tax based on your income or your profit. Okay, then the next point, that is direct tax is collected by CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes. Okay, so CBDT under Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Revenue collect the direct tax. Okay, this thing you should remember. Then here in direct tax we have income tax, then corporate tax, etc. Okay, we will see one by one what are the taxes are there. The most important point, it is progressive tax system. The most important point, it is progressive tax system. Already we saw na income tax slabs. I told you 0 to 2.5 nil, then 2.5 to 5. That is progressive. So similarly, direct tax is your progressive tax. Okay, so this tax you cannot transfer to someone else. Okay, you need to pay directly to the government. That's why it is named direct tax. It's simple. CBDT collect direct tax. Okay. Now see, let's see the one by one. What are the tax in the direct tax? So income tax. Okay, income tax is a direct tax. Already we saw. Whatever you are, suppose you are salaried person, then what you are based on your income level. Okay, you will pay the tax. Suppose your income fall in 2.5 to 5 lakh slab, then you need to pay how much tax? 5% tax. Okay, like that. Then second one is your corporate tax. Okay, corporate tax is paid by company basically. Higher companies will pay corporate tax based on their income and profit. Then the third is MAT, that is minimum alternate tax. Okay, full form, each and every full form in the economics you should always remember, because they can ask you a simple question on this. See, question level will be simple. Okay, but you should know each and everything. That is the condition. So what is the meaning of minimum alternate tax? So on the book profit, company need to pay taxes. Okay, for example, what is the meaning of book profit now? See, suppose one company is holding one share. Okay, one share today, that is your, I can say, May month. Okay, now in the month of next February, suppose next February, that share price went up. Okay, here that share price is 100 rupees. Now in the month of February it is 300 rupees, right? But company did not sell. Okay, the share is in the demat account, because for share we need demat account. Okay, in the share market and stock market we will see all the things in detail, don't worry about that. To purchase the share we need demat account. Okay, that share are in demat account. Okay, but company did not sell, because when the company will sell, then only it will get profit in their pocket. Okay, profit in pocket when they sell the share. So this profit, that is now here value is 300, so this 200 rupees profit is in book now. Okay, is in book now, because it is not in pocket. So this is called book profit. So on this also company need to give the tax, which is your MAT. Okay, similarly I can take the example of land also. Okay, suppose in May month the land price in May 2001. Okay, in May 2001 the land price is your, suppose, a 10 lakh. Now in February 2010 the land price will be 15 lakh. Okay, the company did not sold the land or sell the land. It is with the company only. Okay, when we will sold at this 15 lakh price, then only I will get profit of 5 lakh, right? So this is also my book profit. The profit is in on book. Okay, like that. So this is your book profit. Okay, I hope you clear with the concept of minimum alternate tax, which we need to pay on book profit, shares and land. A very good example of this. Okay, then the fourth one, that's dividend distribution tax. Okay, so whenever you purchase share of any company, okay, and company is reporting profit, okay, then they give dividend. Dividend nothing but the small portion of their profit to the shareholders who are holding their shares of a company, okay. So dividend means small portion of profit, okay. So on that also company need to give the taxes, dividend distribution taxes, okay, DDT, which is called DDT. Then the next is securities transaction tax. So there are securities in the share market, that is your equity, okay, hybrid. In the share market we will discuss about this also, don't worry, but for now just remember equity, hybrid, debt, okay, securities are there. So when we sell or buy these securities, okay, then we need to give again tax, which is called your STT. Then capital gains, okay, whatever we are getting the profit, on that we need to give the taxes, specifically on capital assets. Then fringe benefit tax. So basically this is the tax pay by your employer, okay, not employee. Employer pay the tax and will give to the benefit, okay. Then wealth tax. This tax was there, but now it is not there, it is abolished already, okay, it is removed, okay. So these are the taxes, okay, and this taxes basically, this direct taxes, these are all direct taxes which is collected by central government, okay. These are the taxes which are collected by central government. So just remember direct tax, this is the list collected by central government. So now what are the taxes which state can collect in terms of direct tax, okay, state government. So one is land revenue, okay, land revenue. Then property tax, then professional tax, those who are employed, they know professional tax we need to pay, okay, professional tax. Stamp duty. So these are the four, okay, which will collect by state government, and these are the direct taxes. These are direct taxes we are giving directly to state government, and these are we are directly given to central government, okay. So this thing you did remember. So this is all about your direct tax. Now let's move to the indirect taxes. So basically indirect tax is levied on, is imposed on manufacturing, okay, manufacturing. Then sales of goods and services, also import, also on import and export, okay. So on this we need to pay indirect taxes to the government. Now see this tax, okay, basically this tax is not paid by the individual, it's paid by the consumer, to the government. So the tax burden will be directly transferred on the consumer, and then consume with the help from the consumer we are taking the tax, and then we are giving to tax. We means the manufacturer, the service provider who are giving or selling the services, okay. Like for example, if you are go to the store and you purchase some biscuit pack, okay, so you are the consumer, and if you see the back side of biscuit, then it is already written that all the taxes inclusive, okay, inclusive of all the taxes already written there. So means that is the indirect taxes, okay. So this amount, suppose 10 rupees biscuit is there, okay, with inclusive of taxes. So suppose 2 rupees is tax, not very much, okay, but example. So this 2 rupees you will pay to the shopkeeper, okay, and shopkeeper then will pay to the government, like that. So that's why in this indirect taxes the tax burden will be transferred to your consumer. So basically consumer is in load, okay. Now indirect tax, the problem is that the person with lower income group and higher income group need to pay the same, okay. For example, if this one consumer is there, okay, whose salary is 5 lakh per annum, and one consumer is there whose salary is 50 lakh per annum, but the biscuit price is same for both, okay. So this is the indirect tax for this, okay. This is the problem, this is the disadvantage they say for indirect taxes, okay. Now here this tax, okay, another point, that this tax is collected by CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, okay, and Customs. Now see, let's discuss that what are the taxes collected by central and what are the taxes collected by state, okay. Now see, in indirect tax basically you know that GST was implemented in 2017. So because of that, lots of taxes here, okay, got vanished or got removed, and all the taxes come under now GST, okay. But few taxes like custom duty, collected by central government. Then second one, central excise duty, okay, like that. This is paid by this. Also CGST is there, CGST, okay, central GST, that is goods and service tax. Also IGST is also there, IGST, integrated GST, okay. Then here in state GST means CGST. Then excise duty on alcohols, okay, excise duty on alcohol or liquor. So this is the taxes we need to pay to the central or government or state government, okay. Now here let's discuss about first what we can say, custom duty we will say, okay. So first tax, which is very important. So whenever the goods are imported, exported, okay, whenever there is a import and export of goods, then we need to pay custom duty, okay, for that. The second is central excise duty, Now this we need to give, okay, on the goods or products which are manufacturing in India, which are manufactured in the India, okay, for domestic consumption purpose, means we will consume only. So on which we have to give central excise duty, okay. The third, which is very important, you are GST now. So GST means goods and service tax, okay. On 1st of July 2017 it is implemented, 1st of July 2017, under 101st Amendment Act 2016, okay. One new article, that is 246A article is there for GST now, okay. And one more article is there, 279A, for GST Council, means whatever the amendments, further amendment will be there in the GST, okay, that will decide by GST Council. So in GST Council, chairman is Union Finance Minister, okay. So chairman of GST Council is Union Finance Minister. Currently, who is the finance minister? Nirmala Sitharaman, okay. So Nirmala Sitharaman is who? Chairman of GST Council. Just remember, very important point. Okay, so in GST basically there are three things, that CGST, SGST. CGST collected by central, SGST collected by state, IGST is collected by what? Central only, okay. Okay, now so see, IGST, when you will pay IGST basically, whenever there are good transport, okay, whenever there are goods transport from one state to another, selling of goods from one state to another state, then you will pay IGST, okay. If the goods is within the state, then you will pay SGST. Similarly, CGST will be there, okay, if the goods are within the state only. IGST will be applicable on one state to other. Suppose you are living in Mumbai and you are selling your product in suppose Delhi, then you need to pay IGST, okay. Also it is applicable on import and export of, okay, import and export of goods from India or to the India. So import and export of goods, okay. Just remember these three things for SGST, CGST and your IGST. Collection by central government, state, and CGST is central, okay. So these are the important points for your indirect taxes. Okay, and one more important point I forget, that tax percentage, okay, of GST. What are the types of tax percentage of GST? One is there 5%, okay, then 12%, then your 18%, and then last 28%, okay. 0% is also there for some of the products. We don't need to give the tax, okay. So these are the 5 taxes you need to remember, that 0%, 5%, 12, 18 and 28%, which is very important for you. Now there is lots of big list, okay, on the product, means what category of product come under these taxes, you don't need to remember obviously, okay, but this thing you can remember. So this is all about your tax system, okay. The discussion is enough for your DFC side specifically. So there is, I don't think there is much more needed now. Just properly do revision of each and everything, and in the MCQs and in your test series you will get the questions, okay. So from that, if I thought, I will think if any new concept will be there, then I will add to the test series, okay. So don't worry about that, just revise till now, okay, and keep revising, and I will meet you on now next Sunday, right? So till then, keep revising, and also join our Telegram group, because whatever the work you will get in this 4 to 5 days, okay, you will get information on that regarding that work in your Telegram group, okay. So till then, just keep revising and all the best.